These are their chosen representatives.
Is he mocking us a bit there?
Very well. Let us hear what they have to say.
Yes, sir. I present to you our commander, Lord Quintus van Cinna, legatus of the First Legion.
We've never seen him, right?
Nope.
The first? I had no idea you had survived.
Okay, Alfie clearly knows who he is.
We lost our emperor, our city, more than half our troops.
That beard is
For
glorious.
my wounds, I may never take the field again. But we survived. Aye.
It is. You can't have that as a male character, right?
I don't think so.
Ah, that's too bad.
In a manner much to your liking, I dare say.
We have no intention of adding to your misfortunes, nor do we bear you any ill will.
Spare me. Though you children may speak in earnest, overtures of peace ever ring hollow in my ears. So long as man stands to profit from his neighbor's suffering, war is inevitable. Driven from our ancestral homeland into this blasted waste. Yet still you yearned to rob us of our paltry scraps.
I always thought people who would have their arms crossed like that while sitting are so weird. Like, it's such an unnatural way to, like, hold your arms, right? It's so not what I would ever do.
It was only with Magitech that you learned to keep your distance. Though we knew it was only a matter of time before you regrouped and returned. Conquest and empire were our only defenses. Emperors Solus and Varus understood this, and through their campaigns saw us grow and prosper. Much blood has been spilled in Garlemald's name, aye. But if it is a choice between yours and mine, then it is hardly a choice at all.
Which is kind of the way all humans think about themselves, so you can't really blame them for it.
Yeah,
No matter
you
how...
can't really blame the other person's choice then if you're making the same decision.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, no one is so noble to say that someone else is more worthy of them, and that's kind of what the entirety of Shadowbringers was about. It was like, are we gonna be the noble ones and say that, like, Emmett and his people are more worthy? Like, we never said that, and eventually we fought him for it.
I do not deny that a great many conflicts throughout history were driven by the desire or necessity to gain by another's loss. That is not why we are here. Nor have we come to petition your aid in the war with the Telophoroi, grave though that threat may be. Our purpose is simply this. We wish to help you. Let us help you. If there is aught that can be done to ease your plight, we would be glad to do it.
Okay, to be honest, if I was in their shoes, all of this would have sounded so fake to me. Like, if someone would just approach me and say, I just want to help you, like, that can never be, I don't know, in my honest opinion, like, that can never be true. That can never be the case. Like, no one is there to just help someone. There always has to be something. You know, either, like, if nothing, there's at least that underlying need to feel like a bigger person for doing something. And just, like, feeding your ego. Like, I would not buy any of this.
No.
It's just, it's not in human nature to just go around and want to help people. The people don't do that.
Perhaps you would.
Like, I know some people who are genuinely nice, like, that will actually, like, do things for you without
But
asking for anything.
regardless of the ideals you espouse, your leaders would not send an army into Garlemald if they did not stand to benefit.
Maybe for individual you know, people, very rare people, but for us to be presented as a group of people with that as our only...
as a group.
Yeah, Athenode is not speaking for himself. Like, as an individual, like a very rare individual, that may be the case. But I don't think we should present ourselves as such as a group, because no one really buys that bullshit. And out of these people who are, you know, who sincerely want to help and gain nothing visible from that, like, at least half of these people do it so that they could feel good about helping. And it's not selfish because they're helping, but at the same time, it does kind of feed their ego and some of their own needs. So it still has a purpose within themselves. It's not just like selfless helping. It is a way to make you feel something. And it's a good way, but like it's still a way for you to gain something out of it, right? I don't know. It's just maybe I don't trust in people anymore, so I'm just very skeptical about this. But
if we accept their aid, they will expect their efforts to be rewarded once the Telophoroi are no longer a threat. But after compensation and concessions, the great empire would be brought to heel. Her enemies rejoice at her downfall. Our third eye, a mark of shame.
We won't stand idly by and let your people be humiliated. And we're not alone in that. We only want to make a difference, to make this world of ours better. Surely you can understand that. What I'm trying to say is, there are so many people who just don't care about making you suffer. And maybe that's almost insulting after all the suffering you feel the world has subjected your people to, but believe it or not, that's the truth. And now we're here, and all we're asking is for you to tell us what you want, what you hope for.
Like, maybe I'm just a big skeptic, and I don't believe in, like, you know, just the pure good in people's hearts, because I see a lot of people just having a really hard time, and I know that, like, while you're having a hard time, it's very hard for you to be selfless, because you have to be like in a really good spot, both mentally and just like within your own world, to just kind of expand and reach out to other people to get them there as well. And maybe it's just like a set of circumstances that isn't really bringing me to people who just, you know, have it good so that they can be selfless enough to be like this. I'm sure there are people who feel that way, but I don't really buy it right now.
So much blood has been shed, so much lost, all because of this endless war. Can we not work together to face our problems as one?
That's kind of what the Empire wanted.
Answer me this, young peacemakers. If a world without conflict is your desire, why reject the unity and prosperity of Garlemald?
Yeah, that's a big question, isn't it? Because of the ways they tried to...
Because we do not share your faith? That we do not share your heritage? That our ideals and virtues differ? That we cherish and hold in the highest that which you do not?
It's such a big topic, right? For, you know, a game. It's like you can just almost hardly believe it that, like, you're just gonna, I don't know, encounter things like this in, you know, an MSQ and just kind of, I don't know, be forced into thinking about it.
Disparity is the root of discord, and peace built on compromise is flawed and fleeting. Happiness for one and all is a dream, and the reality is that to the victor go the spoils. That is why we Garleans will never submit nor surrender. For freedom and for pride, we will remain true to ourselves until the bitter end. That is my hope.
I mean, the sad truth is that if they don't have magic, like they don't, even though hardly any Eorzean would ever admit it, they would be discriminated against. Like, getting their technology and magitech and whatnot was kind of their way of at least compensating for a little bit of that, because discrimination would just inevitably happen. And I just think they used it in a wrong way, because I think there's a lot of inferiority complex involved on their side as well, because it really, like, their nation started off kind of like on the back foot, right? It wasn't really like they weren't equal to the others to begin with, and I think they just kind of, you know, tried to overcompensate a little bit for their basically for their I'm not gonna say like lack of like what is magic anyway, like lack of abilities, lack of, I don't know, things to, well, lack of leverage, lack of whatever it is that you would consider magic to be from the Eorzean point of view. Like, Eorzeans would definitely discriminate against them. I have no doubt about that. Okay.
It seems there is nothing more to say on the matter.
I think Magitech was their way of survival, but they went from survival to full-on oppression.
You will remain here while I decide what is to be done with you. Do not be alarmed. No harm will come to you if you cooperate.
We will not resist. However, as your guests, I ask that we be allowed to speak with the other members of your group.
As you wish. I had no intention of locking you up, as by dawn you would be frozen stiff and you're no good to me dead. You are free to move about the encampment, but there is one condition. Collar them.
What? What? Excuse me?
What are these?
Is that like an anti-magic collar? I would guess so.
Incentive. You'll be watched at all times. Stray too far or act suspiciously, and we will administer a rather painful shock.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they unknowingly went from, you know, survival into over exploitation of magitech, and that's where I would draw the line when it comes to the empathy I have for them. Like, basically using it for survival, like for, you know, creating heat or whatever, is okay. Using it to advance technology that would further, you know, grow their nation is okay. Using it even as an existing leverage to never be used against someone, but for it to be there just for the others to know that they're not to be messed around with, is somewhat okay. But they actually went ahead and used all these tools to try to further conquer other people, and that's where I absolutely draw the line. It went too far. It just went too far. Like this is going too far.
Stop.
Collar them?
Keep
What the
away
hell?
from that one.
Oh, you're okay. You're getting to that
Sorry, I
point.
was behind.
Yeah, that's fine. Getting
Oh.
distracted.
Champion of Eorzea is not so easily cowed.
Tease me.
Even if she allowed herself to be collared, the shock would be no more than an itch. No. If she refuses to obey, we will activate the twins' restraints instead.
Oh yeah, that will actually work. I actually don't even think that they think of themselves as better. I think they honestly want people to believe that, but I think there's a lot of them thinking that they're actually worse, or just, I don't know, like, how would you feel if the whole world around you had magic and you didn't have any? Like, you would feel like you have to overcompensate for something, right? I mean, it's in human nature. I got into the boss fight midway through that. That's okay. Yeah, I totally see how they got to that point. It's the fear, it's discrimination, it's just overall lack of, toys that everyone else got served with and they just had none of it. So I'll be right back. Yeah, exactly. Like when I was talking about this, especially about the leverage thing, I was also thinking about these kinds of weapons. I'm not sure if I can, say it out loud on stream, but that's pretty much, that was my point. I mean, I think that they still think that they can use these tools because for as long as others have magic and that they do not, they are going to feel somewhat entitled to have something. Even though, magic is not being directly used against them. It's the existence of magic within like other people, nations, or whatever, that makes them, act a certain way, I think. No, Eorzeans are not innocent, and I think that if they weren't, oppressed or actually suppressed by the bardic Garleans, they would definitely be looking to expand. Like, look at the situation in Limsa Lominsa. You have like a bunch of pirates, ready to conquer. You have, every single nation just has an army, and it is in human nature to claim space. And they would definitely be all over that space and would, I'm pretty sure if Garleans didn't have Magitek, the Eorzeans would just attack them at some point. I have no doubt in my mind. There's a lot of messed up stuff in Eorzea as well, and I'm glad that Endwalker has kind of, turned the spotlight towards, Garlean in this sort of sense, that, Eorzea is not necessarily good and Garlean bad. It's the individuals who are in power and who make these decisions that pretty much, paint the picture of whether, the people are good or bad, because they can, which is wrong. Of course, it's wrong, but you can't really, until you get to know them, you can't really kind of, just understand what's going on. Like, none of us are innocent here. The game is a masterpiece when it comes to touching on these issues in it's not even an indirect way. It's very obvious what they're talking about, but you still feel like it's a game. You don't feel like it's some sort of super political thing that you're getting into. You still are able to, just, I don't know, progress through it and, still play your game without getting overwhelmed by it.
We'll forget we're even wearing them soon enough.
Even now, you still... Why go to such lengths? What is it all for?
Because you and the most bitter adversary may one day see reason. On the coldest, blackest of nights, weird though it may be, we must share the warmth of our fire. That's kind of cheesy. We'll go with the first one. No, I have nothing against this guy. Oh, I just remembered I have to change my hairstyle. I saw the clipping last time on stream.
You are a curious one.
Now I'm seeing
A far
it again.
cry from the merciless barbarian others paint you to be.
Well, we are kind of a
You
barbarian.
will be their warden. Take them away.
Yes, sir.
That was a pretty strong cutscene, wasn't it?
Envoys from the Imperial Army, led by members of the 10th Legion, came to Alamigo and requested an audience. They explained that their efforts to coordinate the reclamation of the capital with the aid of the 4th, 5th, 8th, and 12th had ended in failure. Communication between most legions has broken down entirely. Most of the 10th's conscripts have deserted, leaving their forces severely depleted. That is why, unable to continue the fight on their own, they and their allies turned to the Grand Company of Eorzea for aid.
Lies. Every word.
It's so hard for him to just face the fact that he's been losing on every single front.
It is the truth, and I have not finished. The 10th has requested that we deliver a message to Lord Quintus. Have the ill stand down.
You have been listening, my lord? What are your orders?
Is he in trouble?
Stand down, bro.
Yeah.
Inform her that we will honor the 10th's decision.
Are we gonna find out what it means? It basically...
Bereft of hope, and now dignity.
At least he's smart about it.
Oh.
I release you from your duty. All of you.
Well, this victory kind of sucks, doesn't it?
I take solace, your radiance, in the knowledge you are not here to
Feels
witness
bad.
our
It
debasement.
does. It does. Like, you win, but you still don't feel good about it.
'Twas a grand, glorious dream we shared. Of a
Oh, the
world united,
music.
of peace and prosperity.
Oh, wow. What a good song. I just want to, like, stay in the cutscene and listen to it.
We are ghosts, you and I, memories of days gone by. Bonds forged in blood that I will not see tarnished.
No, he's not gonna. He's not gonna. There's no way. He's not gonna. He's not gonna. Holy shit.
Quickly! We have to reach the station before it's too late.
If there is still a chance that Quintus will agree to a truce, we must take it.
I just hope we get there before he and his men do something rash.
Oh my god, speaking of rash.
Something rash, yeah.
But I understand it. Like, there's a lot of
Oh. Damn.
there's so much of like both the soldiers culture and Japanese culture like mixed up in this cutscene. And like once you understand these two backgrounds, you're just like, you understand just how much care has been put into a story like this and a cutscene like that. Right?
It's insane. Yeah.
It's like
Wow.
after everything you fought for, there's still obviously a life to be lived, but it looks and feels so hopeless that you're just like robbed of any happiness that you could feel after that. And it's the only way out. How terrible is that?
That's so bad.
Shit. It's so complicated. Like, a lot of people in the world aren't even able to comprehend. I don't fully comprehend it. Like, what brings you to the point of feeling like you have nothing else to live for? It's sad. And it's very hard.